Well, hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. This is my channel, Beautiful Bows and so much more. I'm Helen, and this is my very first video for 2020. So, two things I'm going to apologise for before we get going. Firstly, this something about Mary quiff thing going on in my hair. I did have a lovely nice fringe earlier, and then I did the school run, and I don't know about anyone else's weather, but the weather down here in Plymouth today is horrible, grey, wet, yucky, and I gave up basically. So yeah, we've got this going on today. And also, as I mentioned, the second thing I apologise for is the lighting. It's really, really dark today, and much as I've tried, I don't have any sort of expensive lighting equipment. It's just me and my house light down the window. So it probably be a little bit dark, and I apologise in advance for that. So I had a little bit of a unplanned break, basically stemmed from Christmas. I was having obviously a couple of weeks with my family, and the children were off, my husband was off. Well, my husband was off for a further 3 weeks after the children went back, so any plans to do sewing or videos kind of went out the window. But it's been a lovely time, and I've enjoyed it, but I'm really pleased to get back to some sort of normal routine, and that will now from now on, that will always hopefully include doing these videos for you guys. So I thought we'd do a little review. I've seen lots of other sewing vloggers doing the same, and I've really enjoyed seeing them. It will basically show all the makes I made in 2019, and then at the end I'll just do a few thoughts on makes that I'd like to do in the coming year. So my dressmaking really started in the beginning of last year, because in Christmas 2018 I got both the Tilly and the Buttons Love at First Stitch and stretch books, which I can't imagine many of you haven't heard of, but they are just fantastic, especially for beginners like me to get into dressmaking. So almost immediately, once the Christmas got out of the way and kids were back at school, I managed to find some black and some purple fabric I had from an old D stash, and I made my first Frankie. And that was quickly followed, I think the same afternoon, by my second Frankie. This one was actually meant to have been something for my daughter, because it had the unicorns on it, or are they Pegasus? I'm not sure. But I loved it, and so I made it for myself. So after I made the two Frankies, the only other thing I've actually sewn from the stretch book, which I'm a bit disgusted with myself because obviously I've had it a year now, but the only thing I've made is a Stella hoodie. However, this wasn't for me. If you follow my channel, you will have seen it already, and I'll put a little link up that's got the vlog I did with the make in it. But I made it for my son. And so obviously I made some alterations, but he absolutely loved it, and I said at the time, oh, I'll make one for myself soon, and yeah, that hasn't happened. But I will be doing so this year. So those were the things I made from the stretch book so far. And then I found quite early on last year a video, I think it was by Cheryl over at Stitchy, talking about a top by New Look. Now this top is a woven pattern, but it is so easy. I thought I'll give it a go, because obviously I was quite a beginner, and it was basically three pieces. One front piece, because it had grown on sleeves, and two back pieces that you would put together down the center seam, and then they had a loop and button fastening. So that was the first sort of woven top I made for myself, and hopefully I'm putting photos in as I'm saying this. I made it out of this fabric I got as a remnant, and I absolutely loved it. I then went on to make a further 4 of these tops, and if you wanted to have a look, I won't go into detail about the specifics of fabrics and what I thought, because I did a video way back sometime last year. I'll put a link at the top here so that you can No, it'll be at the top here, won't it? So that you can go back and have a look at that. This is one of them. This is my pineapple top, which I entered into a Instagram challenge run by 3 lovely ladies. They are Purple Sewing Cloud, Voice of a Creative, and Sewn on the Tyne. And in July, they did a theme which was Sewing Juicy July. So I did some juicy pineapples. So as I say, I did 5 of these, and that was New Look 6217. So obviously a favourite pattern. Then 3 tops that I made from, well, 2 for myself were the Ogden cami. So again, if you follow me at all on here or Instagram, you'll know that I joined in with the Instagram challenge they did for the Ogden cami swap, but it's not called that. I can't remember what it's called because it had a bag as well. Oh, I'll hopefully have put a link in here. Anyway, it was the first time I'd ever made the Ogden cami. This is a very popular pattern if you've never heard of it, by a company called True Bias. And the first one I ever made, funnily, was not even for me. It was for the lovely Helen. Another Helen. I'm not talking about myself. I don't talk about myself in that terms. For the swap, and Helen also made one for me. I loved the top, so I luckily had enough of the fabric, which I believe is a Lady McElroy, to make myself the Ogden cami. So I did that as well, and then I made a further one in this lovely green silk, which was from a relative, and I've mentioned it in previous videos. If you want to go back and take a look, please do. Now, I really loved the Ogden cami, and I was a little bit brave, and at that point I decided to film the process, and I put it out as a little follow along with me, not a tutorial, because obviously I'm a beginner and I wouldn't dream of telling people how to sew, but just in case anyone hadn't done it and wanted to see what the process was like, I filmed it. And again, I'll put a little link up for you so that you can go and take a look if you haven't already seen that. So those were my 3 Ogden camis. I'm just checking my list. I also made the Willow top by Grainline Studios, and again, it was quite a straightforward top. I always thought originally when I bought it I would make the dress because the pattern comes as a top or a dress, but in actual fact when I made the top, I then actually gave the pattern away to the lovely Karen at So Little Time, because she was asking for the pattern, and I didn't really think I would make it again, so I passed that along. So I didn't make the dress. Maybe one day I'll get the pattern again and make the dress. But I'm hoping I'm putting all photos up. And also, I'm not talking in detail about any of these patterns because, well, we'd be here a month Sundays, and that's not very exciting, is it? But like I say, most of these I have videos for, so if you go back through my channel, you'll be able to find when I made them and what I thought of them. I also made the fabulous Cleo, and made it from this lovely pink denim, and it's one of my favourite makes to date. And I really love the simplicity and also the top stitching, which I thought I would hate, but I actually loved. And I hope to make some again. I've got loads of cords in my stash now to make that. So hopefully I'll make the Cleo. Sorry, that's a Tilly and the Buttons pattern, if you didn't know. So another popular one I made was the named pattern clothing company Kilo Wrap. Now, I love this dress, and I made it just at the right time because it was just before summer, and we had a lovely summer down here in Plymouth, and I wore this to death. I do have plans to make a couple more, and if I do, I'm going to definitely make a video to show you guys. I might even do a tutorial type sew along, who knows. Another one I really loved that I saw when I watched the lovely Laura over at the Specky Seamstress was McCall's pattern. And this pattern by McCall's is a sort of a sweatshirt jumpery type pattern, but it had puffy sleeves. I really liked that it had a puff on the sleeve here and then a sort of puffy gather around here, and that was McCall's 7722. Again, I did have a video about that, and I also had a further video that showed I dyed it. So if you're interested, do go take a look. I love that pattern, and I don't know why I haven't made more since the first one. I'll definitely put it on my list for this year. Another one I'm going to put on my list to make more of, because I only made one, was the fabulous grain line Linden sweatshirt. I absolutely love this. I made this out of an alpine fleece, and I wear it all the time when it's chilly, because it's so cozy. I really, really want to make more, and I just haven't got around to it, but this year, for sure. I also made the acacia free knickers pattern from Megan Nilsson. I don't think that I'll insert photos here, but they are over on my Instagram if you want to take a look. It's a great pattern, and it's a great stash buster for all those jersey scraps. So I'm pretty certain that there'll be many more of those for me. And if you were fancying something to use up your scraps, I highly recommend it. I also did a collaboration. Now, this was with the lovely Anna over at You Got Me in Stitches, and we did New Look 6434. And again, I did a video about it, so if you want to see it more in detail, but I really like how this turned out, and I think I have ideas for some others I would make. As the sleeve detail, again, it's really pretty because it's sort of flouncy, and I like that. I think sleeves are all in as well. I've seen them all over the high street, big puffy sleeves and really dramatic sleeves, and I think they look fab. And then lastly, these two that I did at the end of last year, and I think I actually finished the beginning of this year, was the Ginger Jeans by the Closet Case Patterns, which I took my time, but I absolutely love them. And I am going to do a separate video soon showing them in more detail for you, and also what I thought of them, and yeah, just generally all about the ginger jeans. And I've already bought some black denim to make another pair, so that tells you that obviously I love them. And in fact, I wear them all the time. I've got them on today. They are just my favourite thing that I've made. I also made the Tilly and the Buttons Romy top, which was the very last thing I made. I finished it off very recently. Like I say, I think it was actually the beginning of this year I might have finished it off. But I'm going to do a video about that, maybe slightly controversial. You'll have to stay tuned to see. But that is it. I've actually made, I think, about 23 different items this year. And I also started this channel. So from January last year to January this year, I'm really amazed at the progress I made. And when I started the channel as well, I think it was more for me, because I don't have much on in the day when husband's at work and children at school, but I've found such a fantastic community from it, such lovely viewers and other sewing vloggers, and I love all the comments and all the suggestions, and I love that you guys watch, because I'm just shy of 700 subscribers, which it still astounds me, and I'm really, really thankful, and I'm so pleased that you like my videos, and hopefully you'll love what I've got planned for this year. And if you do watch me and you do like my videos and you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. And don't forget, if you want to see every video when it comes up, you've got to hit that little bell icon. So that was my roundup. As I say, I've got a few videos planned, but makes wise, I really, really want to do like a whole me made outfit. So I'm proud of myself that by the end of the year I'd make jeans, because that was a secret goal I had in my head in the January of last year, was to make my own jeans. I didn't actually believe I could. I just kept it to myself and thought I would really, really love to do that. So I'm really proud and happy that I did do that. Now this year my goals really are to do the things that would make my outfit entirely me made. I'm not doing socks at the moment, but everything else. So I've done pants, so I'd really like to do a bra pattern or a bralette, and I've seen lots and lots of videos and lots of other sewing vloggers that have tutorials and suggestions, so I'm going to do that. And I'd really like to do more tops, so sorry, not tops, toppers. So cardigans like this is a bought cardigan, but cardigans and dusters and coats, the things that finish off the outfit so that I can wear my jeans and the tops that I make with a jacket as well. And for that, my eye is on the Blackwood cardigan, which I see is very popular and looks quite straightforward. So I'm going to give that a go. And then for the coats, my first attempt at coat, I think, is going to be the Eden coat, because I've had that in my patterns for a while and I'm just unsure of what fabric I want to make it in. So if you have made either the Eden or the Blackwood and you've got any recommendations for me, that'd be absolutely fab. If you could leave that in the comments down below and I can get some ideas of what I would like to do and take a look what everyone else has made. So coats and toppers and bras and just lots more of the patterns that I really enjoyed last year, and more from the books. Oh, I already have. I've pre-ordered Tilly's next book, even though I've only made 2 things out of the previous books. Maybe I'll do better this year. So that is it from me for now. I'm going to finish my cold cup of tea and I will see you in my next video.